welcome to Uptown Tonight. It is February 15th of 2023, and it got really crappy outside to the point where they actually canceled school, and I got the day off, so I wasn't crying about that too much at all. But, today we have the one, the only Ramon Gonzalez join us in the studio today. This is going to be excellent. He is one of the OGs in the area, and I don't even know what OG stands for, so we're going to have to explore that a little bit. Old guys? That's what I called my dad since, he was 40-something. Yeah. And I'm in my 40s now, so, that's just how it works, I guess. But I am your host, Mr. Wayne Stollenfacher, or Discount Tom Cruise, or what else they call me, Tom Brady. Some people call me Steve Jobs. Some people call me Steve Wozniak. I don't get the Wozniak version at all, much less the Jobs thing, but yeah, whatever. It all works. Call me what you will. And we are here. We are the Uptown Tonight Podcast, and we are here to basically raise that tide for all the ships out there. That's what we're trying to do, is sit there and elevate what's happening out there in the entertainment area of Fargo and Moorhead. But first, I got to talk about me before we get to Ramon, because Ramon's way more interesting than I am. That's for sure. So we're going to get to what I'm at. Oh, that's right. Old Zebers. Zebers turned 2 last Monday. He nice. Definitely doesn't look like that anymore. And that couch doesn't look like that anymore as well. But there's that. And then Cito's there hanging out with Junior. Junior helps us sell our Uptown merch right there on the stages. So you can come on and say hi to Junior, say hi to Cito, and buy some Uptown merch. Next thing, I think it's next week, we're at the Windbreak. That's probably the quickest time you can find us on stage again. And then Zebras always says, support our troops. My son's in military infantry out in Fort Carson, Colorado. He just turned 21 yesterday, so I'm still trying to get a hold of him on the phone. Then if he calls during the podcast, you might just have to talk to him a little bit. But that is basically all it is. But I do have one thing. My drumline at Moorhead High had their 4th show on Friday afternoon as well, and it went really, really well. So I got to show them off a little bit. So there's me looking up front. Nice. And that was the Spud Line they wanted to call themselves, which is fine by me. It's our inaugural season. I think there's only 2 percussionists on the entire line. Everyone else plays something of different origin, either from the orchestra or from somewhere else in the band. So really proud of those guys. We're still doing little things here and there. I think we got one more on April 1st at the Day of Percussion in Concordia, when all that happens out. So, just really proud of them. Had to show that off. But, that's enough of me. Let's get to Ramon. Ramon, how you doing?
I'm doing good. How are you doing?
Thank you for being on. We almost had a little discrepancy there. I think I wrote him the wrong date to come on, which I write this down like doubles and triples just to make sure I don't screw this up. And, it's humans, I guess. But
it all worked out.
It did. He is here. He's in studio. We're here to do this. So, Roman, let's talk about yourself here a little bit. Where'd you come from? Why?
Ramon, not Roman. That's the other guy.
Did I say Roman again?
You did.
It's Ramon.
There you go.
I knew that since I first heard your name.
There's a Roman in the area.
Yes, I apologize.
Sorry. I've been called worse, believe me.
So Ramon, so tell us where you came from and everything else. How'd you get started in all this
Well,
stuff?
I'm originally from northern Illinois, a little town called Sterling, which, as I always put it, is about 100 miles west of Wrigley Field.
There you go. Oh, the Cubs hat.
Yeah.
Put that together.
And I was there till I was 18 and moved out to the East Coast. After I got married, moved out to the East Coast. Spent a lot of time there, and then in 2006, made my way up here.
So,
In the Fargo Market area.
the obvious question is, why the East Coast? Why didn't you
Yeah.
stay in Illinois? What's
Well,
going on?
Well, I started out my first band. I was 16 years old, and it was a nice little country band. And the most I could play was 2 nights a week. That was the absolute most. And like I said, got married, had a family, and decided that I wanted to be able to work more in my chosen field.
Oh.
And in order to do that, I had to go where there was more opportunity on the East Coast. That was it.
I got you. So you're just a professional musician since the get-go.
Yeah, from the start.
Nice.
From the start.
Very, very cool. So what got you started in music in the first place?
All right. Well, here's the story.
Yes, we want the story.
Okay, the story is when I was a toddler, I was allergic to outside. So I couldn't go outside. My eyes would swell up. Just
Oh, no.
yeah. So my father had to come up with something for me to do, and so at the age of 3, he bought a piano. We had this big picture window in my house, and I could look outside and watch the kids play. So he got a piano in the house, and at age 3, I started playing piano. Started taking lessons. And at the same time, Northern Illinois, WGN televised every Cubs game. So I had 2 things to do all summer long: practice piano, watch Cub games. Practice piano, watch Cub games.
And of course, this is pre-internet, so
Yes, way pre-internet. This is way pre-internet, pre-MTV even. So this is a long time ago.
Oh, exactly. How'd they keep you interested in playing the piano? Is that just your own self-interest?
No,
or...
I have to give the credit to my father on that, because he's very creative on how he, got us to do things, and I give him all the credit in the world for that. My mother is very, very energetic, and loved to sing. Wasn't a singer, but loves to sing. And my father, like I said, just came up with ways to keep all of us kids, interested in whatever we were doing at the time.
Oh, wow. Yes, I know. That's one of the instruments that I regret quitting. And it was after like 3 or 4 years of lessons. But it was, I don't.
Well,
kids just don't want to stick with that type of stuff. So.
Yeah, that's true. That's true. To tell you the truth, I was too young to know exactly what kept me interested, other than it was a lot of support from my family.
Cool. So how long did you take lessons for then? You play all the way up to high school?
Started when I was 3, and I took lessons with the local piano teacher till I was 11.
Ooh.
And then we stopped. I started playing violin and studying with a private teacher there before the school system even got it in. So played that all the way through high school. I started playing again, or taking lessons again on piano when I was 14. Got in with a private tutor from a college. So took about 1.5 years of that. Got invited to go to my first band, and the rest is history.
What band would that have been then?
A band called Country Breeze.
Country Breeze.
Yeah. Shout out to Preston Esses, Jim Harrington, Rick Russell. Those are the guys. They're all on my Facebook.
Shout out. Yes.
So if they're watching, they got a little mention now.
Awesome. No, it's country western. I got you into there in the first place. So you're playing keys or fiddle, or how's that all work?
I was playing both.
Okay. It's fair enough. What kind of tunes were you doing then? Both country and western.
Back then, both of them. Back then, it was a lot of Merle Haggard. The guitar players, both of them were very, very much into guitar or Merle Haggard stuff, and so we did a lot of that. And the lead singer at the time sounded a lot like him too. He could emulate him pretty well. So we did a lot of that stuff, and then we ended up getting a girl in the band and doing some Sylvia, some of the hits from the time there.
Very nice, very nice. And then you're also mentioning that you only could play twice a week, and that was just because of just venues,
that's what everybody played. It was Fridays and Saturdays. Everything. Okay. It was all weekends. I think there was one club that would dabble with a Thursday every once in a while. But for the most part, it was just Fridays and Saturdays, and at the time, even if you're making $100 a night, that's $200. That's cap. So
Precisely.
so when you've reached your limit, you kind of got to reach out and find some other places that'll pay. Well, at the time, that's what it got to be about.
Yeah, I can see that, the whole financial thing. But was that, you were in that same band the entire time then? Was that?
Man, the bands I've been in for a long time. I haven't done anything that didn't last for a little while. From 16 to 18, actually. 16 to 18, 17. Just a year in the first band. And then we all kind of reformed and started playing in another band called Saddle Tramp.
Saddle Tramp, that's awesome.
Saddle Tramp, and I did the majority of the booking for that band. Back in those days, you had to drive from club to club with the promo packs in your back seat.
Oh, nice.
You couldn't just look them up online and shoot them an email.
Had your glossy 8x10s.
Yeah,
and all that.
So we did that, and I was in that until I moved to the East Coast, which would have been 2 years later.
So now, when you moved to the East Coast, was that sort of like a group decision between you and your wife, or are you just like, we need to go do something different?
It was, my wife is from the East Coast.
Oh, well, that makes it easy.
So it was an easy choice for her. And the drummer and the guitar player, girl guitar player, guy drummer, were moving out there because he had served some time in the Navy out there.
Okay.
And wanted to head out that way. So we decided, as a group, we'd go out and see what we could do. And we never put a band together when we went out there. I ended up joining a top 40 band. I had an audition set up before I got out there. So I joined a top 40 band, played with them for a few years. And that morphed into another top 40 band. Man, I didn't even pick up the fiddle for over a year.
Oh, wow.
It was all top 40 stuff, jazz and top 40. So, yeah. But I was playing all the time.
So what's all the time out there? Some of the older people around here, they started
all the
Tuesday until Sunday.
Well, there was several places where you could go Tuesday through Saturday.
Oh, okay.
I even got into a house band for a while that was Tuesday through Sunday. So you only had the Monday off. And
but that was almost every day of the month.
Yeah, every day. So just
and
like
the venue didn't get sick of that, or how does that work?
No, we had to learn. We had to stay on top of stuff all the time.
Oh God, yeah,
all the time. Yeah. And rehearsals after the gig. We get done playing, sit around, wait for the bar to empty out, then we rehearse.
It is a labor of love.
It is.
It has to be.
That it is. Yeah, I got a lot of practice time in those days. Playing a lot. Yeah.
Yeah, because I know that a lot of people will talk about that. Ramon's he's like the
road dog.
I would say, well, you could say that too, but you're like the encyclopedia of cover tunes. You can just name one out and you're just going to play it right there on the spot. You just know it. So
yeah,
that's not a bad thing.
No, it's not a bad thing. The guy that I think of when you talk about that is Mitzel. Sean Mitzel is like that.
Oh, is he?
Yeah, you say, and he knows lyrics and everything. I have to look him up, but I can play. If I've heard it before, I could probably play it, but that boy can sing it too.
Oh, excellent.
Human jukebox.
So shout out to Mitzi Mitzel out there, yes. No, so cool. So you're out there on the East Coast for a while. What happened that sparked you to come back to here?
Well, I ended up joining a band that toured up and down the East Coast. I was with them for, I want to say, 11 years maybe. 10 years.
Nice.
And went up and down the East Coast. Did about 2 years on cruise ships. And
we got to go back and talk about that.
Yeah.
Yep.
And then the bass player and I put together a band that we took on the road nationwide, Stampede, and that's where I first come out this way.
Oh, interesting.
And I was with that band from 98 to 06, so 8 years.
So national touring band. So then
we went all over the place.
Okay, So what kind of music was that? Was that actually
That was
originals or
nope, that was country.
country?
We had a few originals, but
Okay.
the idea was and kind of been my whole thing all along was whatever creates the income, is what we're doing. And we had a show together, and choreography,
Oh, of course.
name it. We covered a lot of stuff and stayed on top of the top 40. At any given moment, we'd have 5 of the top 10 songs in our repertoire, and so yeah, we stayed busy.
Wow. So did you have a tour bus, or how'd that all
No,
work
we didn't
out?
have a tour bus. We the leader of that band got a rider truck
Okay.
and converted it,
Yeah.
and we had a couch in the back and a bed in the overhang and the 2 seats up front, so a 4-piece band could travel miles and miles and miles.
So it'd just be like, what's that movie? Macaulay Culkin.
Macaulay Culkin? I can't say I remember that one.
It's a Christmas one. I can't believe I'm blowing it right now.
Home Alone?
Home Alone, yes. When she catches up with, the Polka people. I can't remember any names right now.
Right. The Schmengi thing.
Yeah, exactly. They're riding
Okay.
the back of the rider. I'm just like, you can't do that anymore.
No. Hey, we got so good at swapping drivers down the road. It was like, hey, who's next? Never take a hand off the wheel, slide over.
Oh,
Next
exactly.
person jump in. So you didn't have to stop. We could just keep rolling.
Did you have the throttle locks on that one then, or is that just
nope. Well,
just good footwork?
No, we'll put it on a little cruise control and
Yep.
and keep it going, and yeah, we could slide from one over to the other.
No, we used to do that with the old school bus we had.
Yeah.
For...
Oh man, it was a wild time back then. That's for sure.
Exactly. Definitely a lot different than it is now.
Yeah.
But I don't know if that's good or bad. Still, lots of good stories, lots of good experiences on that.
Yeah.
Well, that's awesome. So I got to figure out how many. I got to do the math on that one. So that's 8 years or 6 years?
8 years of that one.
8 years.
That band, yeah.
Jeez, just 8 years just touring the nation. Is there any really cool area that you went to that you always wanted to go back to besides North Dakota?
Oh, besides North Dakota, up here, Minnesota and North Dakota both were very big on our calendars. They were great jobs. I mean, we'd start maybe in St. Cloud or Little Falls. Back then they had four nights and the same owner, so we'd go from there to the Hitching Post in St. Cloud and do 6 nights there. Jump over to Pistol Pete's in Fargo, do 6 nights there. Jump up to hit Mandan 6 nights. 6 nights at the Rockin' Horse in Minot. Run across to Superior, Wisconsin, do 6 nights there. Hit the cities, do 6 nights there. So yeah, there was a lot of playing, a lot of playtime.
Oh, that's brilliant. I don't know.
Yeah.
It's kind of my dream at the moment. Just being able to go on, just not come back, just keep on playing.
Well, we would go out for 2 or 3 months at a time. We'd leave the East Coast, and 2 months later we'd start heading back. So we could easily be out for 3 months at a time.
Oh, it's still.
Yeah, and I'm still married to the same woman. So
that's a good woman right there.
Shout out to her.
Yes.
Yeah.
Shout out to you quite a bit.
She's the one that I give all the credit to. So yeah, kept the kids in good standing with everything, and raised them up with me on the phone.
They got to be proud of you, though, aren't they?
I would like to think so.
You'd like to think
I'd like
so?
to think so. Yeah. I mean, they've all been supportive over the years. All my kids and my wife have been very supportive. My whole family. I think I may have run into one of my family members that said, my entire family, cousins included, that looked at me and said, "When are you going to come home and get a real job and just stay home?" And I'm like,
real job?
I send money home.
There you go.
I send money home.
See, about a dozen years touring up and down the East Coast, and then you got another 8 years going across the nation.
Yeah.
What made you just decide you're going to come back to the Midwest?
Well, what happened was the leader of the band in Stampede ended up having to have shoulder surgery, so he opted to shut the band down at that time.
Oh.
And I had been on the road so long that I really didn't know that many people in Virginia Beach, which is where I was living. Virginia Beach, Virginia. I just didn't know that many people. I knew more people out here. And at the time, Rock Mengi
Okay.
And the Great Outdoors were going through a change where all the people that in his band were doing other projects, and the people on my band were needed a spot, and it just kind of gelled, worked pretty good. We moved out here to join the band, myself and the drummer in the band. Rock put together a guitar player, and I moved out here in January of '06. January 10th, I believe, was our first job, and it was on the road. I didn't even have an apartment yet. My wife and I stayed in the hotels that the clubs paid for. And a month and a half later, we finally got our first apartment in Fargo. But I was here for a month and a half, like I said, without an apartment. So.
Was that the same type of scheduling though?
Same type of scheduling.
Okay.
Not quite as drastic, because we had put together several of the clubs that I had in Stampede, and Rock had several that he had done. So for the first 6-8 weeks that we'd started, kind of mixture of the two, and kept me able to have a place to stay until I got an apartment.
Yeah, that's what it sounds like.
Almost like camping, but high class camping. Yeah.
No, but that works out great. It's like that's almost organic. It's like it was meant to be.
Yeah,
really,
I mean,
really cool.
You say everything happens for a reason.
Yeah.
So that was my reason for being out here, and I've not been sorry about it.
And you're still
except when it's 30 below,
Yeah, kind of like today.
Yeah. It's
not even 30 below. It's just the wind won't stop blowing.
Or when the truck slides into a ditch and you can't get out.
Yeah. Can about imagine that.
What?
Yeah. So just because you're just talking about that, it's like poor weather and then being in a band. I'm sure you guys pull a trailer.
Yeah.
And all that is like, how do you work around that stuff? Because I know bands normally don't cancel; they figure out some way to get to the venue. So,
well, I one New Year's Eve, we had to cancel, coming out of Fargo, but the club owner offered to send a couple of trucks with plows on them to lead us back to the. This was in Garrison, North Dakota.
Wow!
And he offered. He said, "Man, I will send out the plow. I got a couple guys with plows. You can just follow them." Yeah. Sorry, that's not going to happen. So I've only had to cancel a couple times, but yeah, there's been plenty of times it's you're really clenching everything together, trying to keep it on the road.
No kidding. So I know we had that one last year. Last year was just why every weekend it snowed out, and during the week it was fine.
During the week was great. Yeah, that's historically the way it is.
Yeah, but we had the one that it's blizzard while we were playing, and I can't remember what town it was, but it was only literally like an hour and a half away. But we got done packing up by 2. I didn't walk into this house until 8 a.m. the next morning. We were just crawling the entire time. Give it to Cito, the clutch driving on that. But, oh, man, it's just like, first off, why do we live here? But, yeah. Second off, just how do we all get around all that stuff? It's just like, is there any tips or tricks that you've learned over the years?
I tell you what, the only thing you can do is just, whoever's the most awake and most alert, let him run, sit behind the wheel. We spun the truck and the trailer coming back from Wyoming, spun it on the interstate, and it ended up facing traffic on the shoulder, and no damage, no harm, no foul. But we ended up having to drive to Gillette, where we decided to stop. Ended up driving to Gillette
and clean your drawers,
halfway on the shoulder, because that was the only thing that didn't have ice on it. So we did that, and of course on the way to Minot one time we put it in a ditch, had to be towed out. We started 2 hours late in our sweatpants,
Of course.
But we did. We got to the gig and we played.
Made it happen.
Made it to the gig.
That's right. That's right. Oh, that's right. We got photos of you. Man, we got to get to some of those. Get some really good ones. So that would explain the fiddle playing.
Yeah.
So you started that when you were 7, right?
Started when I was 7. I studied classically. And when the school system picked it up, I started right in with the school system and followed that all the way through high school. With that, I played in the orchestra pit with the Iowa Chamber Orchestra, and you know, as a kid, which is pretty big honor at the time. So I've done a lot of stuff in that regard in classical music. And then when I was 16, the band asked me to turn my violin into a fiddle, and I had to figure out how to play Orange Blossom Special. Well, if you look at the sheet music, it's about 30 seconds long, and that's it.
Okay.
Look at the sheet music. I looked at the sheet music. It was like 30 seconds long of stuff. I said, what am I going to do for the next 3.5 minutes, 2.5 minutes? So that's when I learned how to improvise, and that's where it all started there.
Ah, gotcha.
So now I can play that song for like 8 minutes. It's not a problem.
Going back through the form. I still have to comment on that belt buckle. That is epic.
Yeah.
Yes.
I don't think that was my biggest one either. I think I had a bigger one too than
Oh
that.
my God. That's awesome.
But you got to remember, it's 80s, 90s country when all this was starting. And
exactly. Yeah. Now here we are, just the cowboy hat.
I think that one's from a casino.
No.
Casino gig, yeah. Cowboy hat. Garth Brooks influenced us all with the headsets.
I was going to say, are you one of the first to start with the headsets? Or
I'll tell you what, we decided early on in Stampede that we were going to go wireless everything. Wireless fiddle, wireless ears, wireless.
Serious?
Yeah, everything was wireless. We had zero stuff on, no sound on stage except for the drums. And
wow.
Man, I tell you what, it sounded good out front. Sounded good in my ears.
That was late 90s, right, when you started that?
That was 98, yeah.
And they had all that technology back then.
They did. It was, some of it was bulky, but they did it. They had it.
Nice.
Yeah. First time I had it in-ears on, oh my God. I could hear everything no matter where I was.
Yeah.
I could run across stage. I could still hear everything.
I love my in-ears. Never
Yeah.
going back. Unless I had, well, I shouldn't say that. Never going back. The Grand Ole Opry.
Yeah, my wife and I took a trip through Nashville. When I was on, this is a little sidebar here thing.
Okay.
When I lived on the East Coast and we toured all the time, I put together a publishing company. And just because I went through there all the time, I'd stop and shop songs. You know, go see managers. You know, whoever was buying the songs, and I'd go shop songs, and it gave me something to do. It gave me a reason to go visit Nashville, and that was just one of our stops there. We took the tour and got to get up there and sing a song. That was fun.
You can say that you did it. Oh, and Richard Zimmerman says, love the Garth look.
That's my son-in-law.
So looking good, old guy. And then Broken Thirsty's out there says we're looking good as well. So Biff, thank you.
I clean up all right.
Cleans up quite well. Ah.
This is in the early days. This is back on the East Coast. That's on the right. We'll go from right to left because right is our sound guy.
Okay.
Next to him is a drummer, Gene Houghton, one of the best drummers I ever worked with.
Nice.
I can't tell you who the girl is next to me there, on my left. And then of course that's me with a shock of blonde hair up front.
I was gonna say.
That's when I was doing top 40 stuff. The fiddles lived in the case. And of course that's my wife next to me on the other side, and my father at the very end there.
Oh, excellent.
I went right to left instead of left to right. Should have gone left to right, but yeah,
Oh,
that's the old man.
You got out there to see us. You
Yeah.
still living in Illinois? You still around with us?
No, my father passed in 2000. My mother's still around.
Oh, okay.
My mother's still around, but
Sorry
Yeah.
to hear that.
yeah, my father got to see me do some of the bigger clubs on the East Coast, just a couple of times before he passed. But
Well,
he
that's
was
good.
he knew enough. He could play enough guitar to keep him happy, you know. So he'd get together with the cousins and he'd strum out some stuff. But other than that, he was all about whatever I was doing.
I can't get my dad to come out to any shows.
Yeah. Well,
he can't play anything.
when I was 16, started playing in bars. My parents had to be with me,
Oh,
you know, because I was
and they
too
were
young to be in
helpful
there.
enough to do that for you, huh?
They started dancing. Half the time, they got more applause than the band. My parents would dance while I was playing.
Taking away
Yeah.
all that star power, yeah.
Yeah. Of course, this is one of your bandmates there, Peter there.
Mr. Lord Wilbur, we found out that he's a descendant from
Oh,
Norwegian.
really?
Yeah.
Okay.
Norwegian, what's that? Kingdoms or
Sir,
whatever?
Norsklands. Yeah.
Exactly.
This was the first lineup I had after Rock left the band, and I ended up taking the band over. It's Jenny and myself, Stubby, and of course Peter. That was taken in the park up there in Duluth.
Oh, okay. Yeah, that was my next question. Where did you find a waterfall like
Yeah,
that?
oh, that was a beautiful place. We went there a couple times to take shots.
Nice.
I think you've got one. Is that the next one?
Maybe
No.
so.
Okay, there's Stampede. That's the band that
Oh, there you go.
that I came out here with. That's not the original lineup, but it's one of the lineups we had over the 8-year span.
But that just screams 90s country. Like.
Yeah, doesn't it?
Yes.
That's Earl on the left there playing bass. He's was the leader of the band. Mike Harrison on drums. Myself and Kurt Rodman, who passed a few years ago. Again, Kurt Rodman, probably one of the best guitar players I ever worked with. Just amazing guitar player.
Nice.
Which, I've gotten to work with some really good musicians over the years. Really good musicians.
I can about
Makes you
imagine.
step up when you play with better cats.
Exactly. That's what makes it fun.
Yeah. This was I want to say this was my wedding night. Okay, I tell everybody.
Here comes the story.
I tell everybody that we were a house band in Dixon, Illinois, which is about 20 miles outside of Sterling, where I was born and raised, and we were a house band there, and they had us for New Year's, and the rule for New Year's was wives could come in free, everybody else had to pay. So I got married December 30th, so that I could get my wife in free on December 31st. Plus, I didn't tell the band.
Aha! There we go.
I didn't tell the band. I got married, came back out, and we were playing, and I told the lead singer, I said, hey, send this next one out to my wife, Melissa. And he's like, what? Does a double take. So he announces it, not believing it, and the drummer looks at me and goes, I thought I was going to be your best man.
What are you doing?
Yeah.
Exactly. Well, my son pulled that on me last time I talked to him. He was like, yeah, I'm married now. I'm like, what? When did this happen?
I was technically two days from turning 18, so I had to have my parents' permission because I was still 17.
Oh, really? Okay.
I turned 18 the day after that picture.
And you're still married to this day.
Still married to this day.
So, yes, again.
Yeah. So that was a band I had going at the time. Mike Massini on the left there, and of course Rick Russell, the drummer, and that's Teresa, the guitar player we had, and myself. I think that's a drum corps hat from my high school that I'm wearing.
That's beautiful.
I picked up at a rummage sale or something somewhere.
Exactly. Oh, you gotta have that fun stuff.
Now, if this one, this is
It's got the chuckle behind it.
This is the guy from I'm trying to think of his name now. Randy from Little Texas, bass player.
Okay.
Probst. Dwayne, not Randy. Dwayne Probst. This was at the casino in Morton, Minnesota. The band took over our stage one by one. First the drummer comes up, bass player comes up, guitar player comes up, and I'm the only one up there left with them. And they're having me sing a couple songs that they didn't want to play any of their stuff. They just want to play stuff they hadn't played in forever.
Oh, I see.
And that was a blast. Ended up running into Dwayne a couple of times over the years and hanging out with him. That's a lot of fun. This is one of the things that you get to do when you're in those kinds of situations. But had a blast. That was just a lot of fun.
How'd that all come about then? They just approached you beforehand?
Well, they were playing the main stage, the big concert show, and they got done and came over to our room, and everything. We had all the crowd that had come over from their concert.
Oh, of course.
And just one by one, somebody said, "Hey, oh yeah, Little Texas, yeah, sure, you can get up and play, absolutely." So one by one, they all jumped up, and we had the whole band up there. And they didn't have a keyboard player with them, so I got to stay.
With Ramon.
The advantages of not being the guitar player.
Yeah, exactly. Or a drummer.
Or the drummer, right? Now, this one I just threw in there because, of course, there's Peter there.
Yep. It's just hard for me to see him with long hair like that. He's got all the hair went to the other side of his face.
Right.
Yeah.
Now, this is just having a little fun while we're doing a promo shot. Same park, I believe.
I love birch trees.
And this is at the Grizzly Rose in Denver. I'm not sure how this shot got taken, but it's one of my favorites.
Yeah, it shows all the momentum and everything that's happening. God,
Yeah.
Perfect lighting on that. Right
Just
there,
another
too.
one, yeah.
Yeah. Sense the emotion behind it.
Of course, there's my promo.
Yep. Great outdoors. I just like that. Let the adventures begin. It's just a great tagline for that. And then we're back to the beginning again. But we'll have to ask you this question, though, is that basically, what would you tell any kind of, I won't even say an upstart musician, but, you know, musicians that are looking to, like, get more work and or want to stay working? What would be a couple of the things that you'd give them for, like, just a little advice?
Adapt.
Adapt.
Be able to adapt.
Okay.
If you want to stay working, and it's, you know, it's not always about the money, but that's what's involved, because the club owner is not going to pay a band to come in there and not entertain. You know,
exactly. Yeah.
You can do. There's nothing wrong with doing original stuff. Nothing wrong with it at all. You know, I love hearing original stuff, but you got to adapt to whatever the crowds want. You know, or just be picky and choosy enough to accept whatever you get. You know, that's the thing, is you got to adapt. You know, I started playing country because when I was playing country, I was working more. You know, and of course nowadays the same clubs that wanted those cowboy shirts with buckles and hats, now they're playing. Half of them are playing top 40 during the breaks. You know, well, they're all playing top 40 during the breaks. You know, so the times have changed, and now my repertoire goes from old timey country to the newer rock. You know, some of the newer rock, classic rock. I mean, I've run the full gamut, man. I'm talking 50s. I've played 50s music. I've played rap. Can you imagine me as a rapper?
No.
I have done my share. I have done my share of rap.
What's your favorite rap one then?
Usually the one I bust out is I like big butts and I cannot lie.
Oh yeah, Sir Mix-a-Lot. There we go. Yeah.
It's an easy one. If the band doesn't know it, it's an easy one because it's just 3 notes: C sharp, and D sharp. Dun, 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 dun. That's the whole song.
Oh my God.
So if the drummer gives me a beat and the bass player hears these 3 notes and can play them, then I can do the whole thing.
Let's run up that chromatic. That's beautiful. I never would have guessed at all about rap with you.
Oh yeah.
Not even, that wouldn't even have crossed my mind. That's awesome. But I got to get to the weekly report here. So, Cito, we miss you, man. That's my piano playing right there.
Nice.
That's all we got. We're going uptown to Windbreak. Tyler Hammond's hitting the stage on Thursday and Friday. 16th and 18th. That's not correct. It's Thursday and Saturday. This Friday night, 2-week notice, be hitting the stage there at the Windbreak. Southtown Poorhouse in Grand Forks. Tyler Hammond's up there on Friday. The time between the Windbreak stages. Then 2 weeks notice will be hitting the stage on Saturday. Then we got Shooting Star Casino, Hitchville in the Mustang Lounge Friday and Saturday, along with the Historic Homes Theater out there. We got Mick Sterling doing a Barry Gibb Bee Gees tribute on Saturday the 18th. And then the Tack Love Bites, a comic opera, will be happening up there Friday and Saturday night on the 17th and 18th. We're going downtown Acoustic Quarter tonight, happening right now. Big and Hungry is at Murphy's Pub, just a few blocks from us. And Rick Adams at the Roundup Saloons right now. Then Thursday, tomorrow night, we got Rick Adams again at Midtown Tavern and Pepper Ashmore at the Troll Lounge. We're going Friday. Rick Adams will be at Tailgaters. On Saturday, the 18th, Zach Thomas will be at Swing Barrel Brewing. Jim White will be at the Silver Spike. Rick Fielder will be at the Silver Dollar Flying Pig. And Rick Adams again at the VFW West Fargo. Rick Adams doing a tour through Fargo. We got downtown. We got the Front Street Tap Room, Vinyl and Vino happening tomorrow night, along with Dan Christensen on Friday. Travis Neros will be doing I think it's an acoustic show on Saturday. And then open mic night with Travis Neros again on Monday the 20th. So it's good seeing Front Street opening up like that. We love that. At the Celery, open mic night tonight with Mark Clay Belcher. Happening probably as we speak. If you're looking to tighten up your 2 minutes or whatever else for your stand-up, that's a place to be. Maggie Ferris and Jan Silverson Severson, Zach Rittenhouse, and Megan Kinney. I'm going to say that. This is going to be on Thursday. At the side, we got Jazz Night next Monday, the 20th. And then J.C. Chumley's October Road hitting the stage on Saturday, the 18th. 42nd Street Delta, we have Kathy Brecky and its 42nd Street Jazz Band on Thursday. And then their son, Dan Brecky, will be taking over the stage on Friday, the 17th. Still downtown, we got open mic. Maybe it's with Gina Power still on Thursday, the 16th. And Tailspin will be hitting the stage on Friday, the 17th at the Aquarium. Disappear Forever in Covalence on Friday. Then we have Bailey Ross, Samuel Olson, Gina Powers Band, Pat Leonard on Saturday the 18th. And then Pain, Your Spirit Dies, Baltic to Boardwalk, Pursuit, Speck, and Rot hitting the stage next Tuesday the 21st. At the Troll Lounge, we got Fancy That on Friday, JT Kennelly on Saturday, and Bluegrass, a Bluegrass Jam going to be heading out there on Tuesday, next Tuesday, 21st. At Specs, Retrolution, Friday and Saturday. Got to get out the Specs and check those guys out. They're awesome. Murphy's Pub, we got Tripping Leslie, Saturday, the 18th. And out of town at the the original Vina, Frantic Anarchy hitting the stage up there Friday and Saturday, 17th, 18th. Laughing Sun Brewing Company in Bismarck, Mandan, our favorite brewing company out in the Bismarck, Mandan area. Never been there. This, Kyle Covey is on Thursday. Matty J and the Mud Hole Stoppers on Friday. Shozana and Band on Saturday, and the Bizman Little Big Band on Monday the 20th. Just love seeing how much stuff is happening out there. You know, Jethro Records in Grand Forks, we have Aetherface, Pope and Jane, Big Hank, I wrote that wrong, Gradients, In Flight, and Covalent on Saturday the 18th. And that's all I believe we have for you this week with the Uptown Report. So let's get back to Roman. I said it again, Ramon, my lord. I'm going to get strung up here yet. It's going to happen. But Ramon, so, you know, you've been doing this a long, long, long time.
Yeah.
Do you ever see yourself ever getting out of the game?
I don't. I can't imagine a time where I'm not playing something, doing something somewhere, somehow. You know, I mean, I've gone from touring 50 weeks out of the year to you know, just keeping it regional, and I'm kind of liking that. You know, I enjoyed the hell out of going on the road all the time. Enjoyed it a lot. Got to see a lot of places. But I'm also enjoying my downtime now. You got grandkids, and hanging out with them is a treat. Treat that, to be honest, I missed with my own kids. You know, so I'm enjoying it.
You have to stop and smell the life for a little bit here. Yep.
Yeah, and you know, it's slowing down a little bit. It's not a bad thing, but I can't see stopping. You know, I'll be doing something somewhere, somehow.
That's awesome.
It's all I truly, absolutely know. I can do other things.
Oh yeah,
but
exactly.
What I know the best
16.
is what I'm doing.
Man, so I hope to do as well. So hopefully I can stay in good enough health to keep on going out there. But you know, just how it is. But you ready for a little juvenile destruction?
Sure.
Okay, so here's this week's Off the Roof, and you might be a little confused by this, but you know, we'll talk about it afterwards. So I'm grabbing these at random now since it snows a little bit, right? I'm not entirely sure what I grabbed here. It came apart pretty good.
Is that your drive?
Yep.
Okay. I don't recognize a lot of snow without snow on it.
Yeah, don't copy mug.
Nice.
With all my video editing skills, I'm moving right.
Yeah. You gotta hone your skills somehow.
Exactly. That was perfect aim too. You're hired. So I'll explain this to you just because I'm sure you're just like, why do you do that? Well, I grew up in this house way back in the day. Bought it for my dad a million years ago, and he lives out in a farmstead now that I want to get into a farmstead as we speak as well. But I digress, is that usually we end up with some kind of rager happening.
Right.
And eventually someone will be up on the roof and be throwing random electronics off the roof just to watch it explode on the driveway.
Hey, rockstar training.
Exactly. So we're just keeping the tradition alive by throwing more stuff off the roof. So if you have anything out there that you want us to destroy, throw it in my yard. Whatever else you got ideas for us to destroy, other than like a regular TV.
I had a fan. No. I had a fan go out on me at Pistol Pete's.
A fan.
You know, one of the little just Walmart $15 fans. You know, whatever, and it finally died on me, covered in smoke and soot and whatever, you know, just tequila probably.
Just all the stage
all the stage stuff, and it finally died on me. And back then, the hotel we stayed in, because this is before I moved up here.
Okay.
Back then, the hotel we stayed in was, you go down the road and turn left on 20-something, the main, one of the main roads, it's one of the exit roads. There was a hotel, just a dive hotel. It's not even there anymore. A little dive hotel up there, and that's where we stayed. So this fan, which finally died on me, I took it, and I'm driving down the road, and I look out the window, and I chuck it, and it just million pieces bounces all the way. Oh, that was fun.
And you didn't have a camera for that.
I didn't have a camera for it because they didn't have cameras for
memory.
They didn't have cameras on your phone back then.
That's the memories for. Oh yes.
Yeah.
Oh yes. No, that's good. That's good. So so that's what we did. So we just destroy things. So again, if you have any ideas or whatever you want us to destroy something, I'll probably get into the fresh stuff here as soon as the snow melts once again, or else I'll just keep grabbing ones there. I have one ultimate one that Keith Johnson actually suggested before he left, and I cannot find it. I'm not going to give it away. I just keep poking at the area that I think it or at least the timeline where I think it's going to be, and I haven't found it yet. But once it does, I can't wait to say that one again. So be aware that one's coming on up. Let's get back to Ramon.
There you go.
Jeez, wow, terrible. But you have anything left for the good of the order? You have things coming up?
We're going to be doing a winter show in Valley City at the Eagles Club.
Excellent.
Kind of a tradition thing for us. We've done it several years. We'll be up at the Diamond the following week. That's I'm trying to think of the dates. The winter show is 10-11 March. 9-10-11. We'll be there 10th of that weekend at the Eagles. And then following weekend is in Grand Forks. Then I'm back in Bismarck for a 6-nighter, or 5-nighter rather.
Excellent.
Up at the Dove.
At the Dove.
Yeah. And we got Sturgis all lined up for this year. Again, I think that makes 12 years for us now.
Wow.
12 years that we've been doing that down there. So
only been there once.
Marmouth, Bottoms Up Run, Marmouth is the end of August, I believe. End of August, we'll be there for that. Yeah, hitting the stage with a few other bands that for that party. So yeah, it'll be a lot of fun. We got some stuff coming up.
Excellent. Anywhere they can find you at?
www.thegreatoutdoorsband.com or on Facebook. You know, if you can find us on Facebook.
And we got all the links happening right down below as well. So if you're looking to find Ramon and all that, go ahead and find them right there as well.
We're out there on the interwebs, man. We're there.
Exactly. Hipping with the times. Well, you can find us all on the Tiki-Tacs, up to the Instagrams, everything else, the Uptown Tonight Podcast, or uptownbandfargo.com and all that. They'll give you all the information on what's happening with the band and or the podcast and all the other fun stuff that's happening. So, we ran out of time again for today, but remember,
it flies.
It does. If your drummer's got more charisma than your front man, band may be in trouble. But that's why my band's doing just fine. So, until next time.
It's just a little baby turtle. Look at him.